It's UT Nighttime with Mason Lowry. Tonight, last Rocket Standing winner Chris Sinchik. And now, the man whose hair doubles as steel wool, Mason Lowry.
Thank you. That was awfully loud for 4 people. Thank you very much for that more than polite applause. Hello, everybody. This is our very first program. It's our very first late night talk show we've ever tried here at UTTV. So we're going to hope that everything goes well. This is Jimmy Momini over here, by the way, our wonderful, lovely board announcer.
No camera can
There's
see
no such
me.
thing as a board announcer. You're in the booth.
Right.
I was thinking radio for a second, but
Right,
you're in the
exactly.
booth. There's not a camera on you, is there?
No, there's not.
Well, they can't see you anyway, so I don't
That's
know. I'm
okay.
just looking off screen for no reason. We'll pretend he's not there. How about
They're not
that?
missing much.
You're right. We're going to start with a monologue. Is that all right with everyone? That's just kind of what we're going to do here, I guess. Just like every other late night talk show, we're going to start with a monologue. And I know we're all really nervous here, this being our first show and everything. But we're all comfortable in the knowledge that we cannot possibly be worse than Carson Daly. So, thanks. The great Gatsby over here found that funny. Well, what's been in the news all week? Of course, the big thing is that Olympic champion swimmer Michael Phelps was photographed smoking marijuana, and the picture was released last week by a UK tabloid. Man, a college-age kid experimenting with drugs. Who would have thought? That would never happen at the University of Toledo. Am I right?
Yeah.
Thanks. I don't want your pity. Actually, I do, because that's all I'm getting. The weed in question, actually, it was sold to him by the American snowboarding team. Well, and actually, because of this incident, Kellogg's is no longer sponsoring Phelps. Phelps was quoted as saying, "That's all right, I'm kind of a blueberry guy now anyway."
So am I.
Thanks. You're fired. Bye, Jason. President Obama has imposed a $500,000 cap on senior executive pay from financial institutions that receive bailout money, saying that they should not be rewarded for failure, because nothing says you're a failure quite like receiving $500,000. That went a little better. It was all right. I'll take that. That's one. We're going to win you over yet, I promise. Hillary Clinton starting the year off in the red. She's still $6 million in debt from her unsuccessful presidential campaign. Clinton's mother is asking for donations to help clear the debt because Bill's party time budget is in a separate bank account. All right. Thanks, Gatsby. You might have heard about this last week. A police officer at Toledo's Scott Park branch called an ambulance because she accidentally shot herself in the foot while at the station. She was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced an idiot. News out of Hollywood last week. You might have heard about this, but Angelina Jolie will not be appearing in the next Lara Croft Tomb Raider film. Yeah, but she's already landed on her feet. Do not cry for her. She will star as herself in the upcoming Angelina Jolie Womb Raider. All right.
Doing okay over there, Mason.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. In Colorado, you found that very funny, sir. In Colorado, a woman has been sentenced to 6 months in prison for having sex with an inmate that she was supposed to be supervising. Well, I hope she got enough practice because she just moved right on up to the big leagues. Angelina Jolie really does have a lot of children. Google has introduced a new feature allowing users to track people through their mobile phones using Google Maps. A product manager for Google said that this will make Google Maps much more fun, and there was much rejoicing from Facebook stalkers worldwide. Their job's now so much easier. Well, Pope Benedict now has a YouTube page. He's also expressed interest in getting MySpace and Facebook pages to better connect with this new generation of Catholics. Actually, we've got a screenshot of the Pope's page. Here it is. Take a look. Should be right behind me here. There you go. You can take a look at that. Religious status is Jesus rocks, and of course his relationship status, it's complicated with God. Isn't it always? How about that Super Bowl? Did we all watch the Super Bowl last Sunday? Tell me you did, please.
Yes.
Somebody? 1, 2, okay, all of us. We all watched the Super Bowl. Great. Actually, this year's Super Bowl set a ton of records. And it was the second most watched Super Bowl in NFL history. It had the longest interception return for a touchdown. Kurt Warner set the record for most passing yards in a single Super Bowl. And it was also the longest that John Madden has ever gone without mentioning Brett Favre.
So true.
It's funny because it's true. And actually, some viewers in Arizona had their signal hijacked and saw 30 seconds of a hardcore porn movie from the Club Jenna channel. Yeah, but both the game and the porn had a similar theme. Both featured men trying to get into the end zone. And finally, during the Super Bowl, Denny's announced that they would give everyone in America a free Grand Slam breakfast on Tuesday. Yeah, actually, they gave out 2 Grand Slams, the one you eat in the restaurant and the one that you take 20 minutes afterwards. Our director, who waited outside Denny's for about a half hour, called it Brown Tuesday. There's a joke in there if you look, I promise.
Mine was orange.
All right, thank you, Jay. I thought you were fired. Weren't you fired? No, apparently he's still here. All right, I guess we will be right back after this. We'll take a look at the 2009 NFL season, so don't go away. We'll be right back. And welcome back to our very first ever episode of UT Nighttime. Jimmy, how'd that monologue go? What did you think of that?
Monologue went well. It did. We actually have audience members that laughed. So
We do. 4 whole people,
I know,
as I said earlier.
I know.
The Great Gatsby here, and then a few other looky-loos over here. So that's good. It's about 4 more than I thought we'd get.
I know, me
So
too.
that's always good. This means that the crew doesn't have to fake laughter all night.
It means next week we might have 5. So
Maybe.
we'll see.
That'd be so fantastic.
It would.
You know, we all did watch the Super Bowl last week, and you find that funny, Jim?
Headset.
Headset? Okay. I'm glad it was nothing I did that made you
No,
laugh.
you've done nothing wrong. Continue, please.
All right. I have your permission, yes? Very good. We all watched the Super Bowl last week. We talked about that a bit earlier. And it was a great game. Steelers win by 4, 27-23. But I had one big problem with everything, and that was all of the pre-show coverage. I think NBC ran something like 6 hours of pregame, and that seems a bit excessive. You think that's excessive, Jim? I think it is.
I agree with you.
You agree?
We saw Will Ferrell preview a movie that had nothing to do with the Super Bowl.
Had
so.
nothing to do with the Super Bowl, nothing to do with football.
Something about dinosaurs. Kind of hoping he was going to get eaten by dinosaurs, but that didn't happen. So
Yeah, I agree. Well, anyway, what we thought we'd do is now that the Super Bowl is passed, we're going to take a look at next year's NFL season in a bit that we like to call the NFL 2009 season predictions. There you are. NFL 2009 season predictions. Let's start, shall we? Upon losing the first 4 games of the season, the Detroit Lions will be offered a buyout package in which they will receive $20,000 each and a voucher for a new car. Very good. Pac-Man Jones will turn over a new leaf when he will announce at a press conference that he will be nowhere near next week's strip club shooting. You got that, thanks. Brett Favre will announce his retirement once again, this time while scrambling for a small loss in the 3rd quarter of the Jets' 2nd preseason game. That sounded so fake. EA Sports will confound everyone by revealing that the Madden 2010 cover will feature Tony Danza as the garbage-picking, field-goal-kicking Philadelphia phenomenon. You think there'd be one misfire in here somewhere, huh, Jim?
I agree.
Yeah. Try this one. Due to the economic crisis, Super Bowl 44 will not be interrupted by a high-quality studio porn film, but by the sex tape starring Screech from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Jason, I thought we fired you.
Apparently not. He's still hanging around for some reason.
Audience members, right?
Yeah, true. Oakland Raiders owner Al Davis will finally reveal that he is, in fact, Skeletor from the He-Man cartoon. John Madden will be rejoined by Pat Summerall to call Sunday night football games. But the games will be moved to 2 o'clock in the afternoon so the duo won't miss Jello night at the home. It's because they're old. Yeah. In the midst of losing numerous endorsements, Plaxico Burress will sign multi-year deals with the NRA and Kevlar body armor. Made you laugh and made you think, except it didn't do the first one. The story of Tom Brady's The story of Tom Brady's 2008 season will be produced into a TV movie called Uninvincible. Yeah. Embattled National Football League referee Ed Hockley will become the spokesman for Sprint as the nation's leader in dropped calls. We're getting nowhere with these. Terrell Owens will leave the NFL and go to a place where his whiny, childish bickering will be appreciated as a co-host on The View. And yeah. And finally, Cleveland will finally win a Super Bowl. Super Bowl 44 MVP will be LeBron James, and the dreams of Browns fans everywhere will be dashed when they realize it was just another State Farm commercial. All right, that was kind of brutal at times, wasn't it?
A little bit, but
We'll get better.
we got a couple.
We'll be right back with Last Comic Standing winner Chris Sinchik, so don't go away.
When I was little, my grandma took me to the Dairy Queen, right? She bought me a banana split. And you know, I was kind of a little messy when I was little, all right? Then the bee got in the car. My grandma was like, baby, don't swing at the bee, because the bee don't hit you. Don't swing at it. I didn't swing, and guess what happened, Grandma? The bee stung me. I swing at bees because they'll sting you anyway, because they're ruthless and they have no soul.
Well, welcome back. Back here on UT Nighttime. My next guest is the very first guest ever on this program. He is a senior here at the University of Toledo who won last week's Last Rocket Standing stand-up competition. Would everyone please give a warm welcome to Chris Sinchik. Chris, welcome to the program.
Thank
If that all went according to plan, I just said a really bad word in Morse code when, they bleep it out. So that's a little opener for you. So being a college student in a recession, we got to be thrifty. We know. So that's why I'm a big fan of Goodwill, obviously. And so I was there the other day, found this shirt, fit me beautifully. It was this really nice cream color. Everything was great till I got it home, ran it through the washer and dryer, which point I realized, well, that wasn't a cream shirt. That was a really dirty white shirt is what that was. Like, I don't know. It was like the most uniformly dirty shirt I'd ever seen. Like, I don't want to speculate about what happened, but let's just say that now my dryer is herpes, which is like rough. Like every couple of weeks I'll pull out a pair of jeans, they got red splotches all over them. I'm like, hey guys, nobody used a dryer. It's having a flare up. I don't know. Like maybe it's my fault too. I don't want to blame the dryer. Maybe I had it in the wrong setting. Like I feel like there's so many settings. Every time I do a load of laundry, I feel like I'm trying to crack a damn safe. Like, really? Wrinkle release? Right? More dry? Less dry? Who the hell wants to close less dry? It's a dryer. Okay, there should be two settings. Dry things adequately and off. You want to dry things, put in the dry things setting. Otherwise, put it on off. You go, problem solved, America. Come on. Engineers should be working on this, not comics. I'm just saying. So yeah, anyway, another symptom of how poor I am is how, I shop at the supermarket, right? Wealthier people, they're in the cereal aisle. They're reaching up here. Captain Crunch. I'm down here. Cocoa peanut butter spheres. Like, I wish that was a joke. I bought that cereal because apparently when you're creating a knockoff cereal, you just try to describe the name brand in other words. Like, these aren't Lucky Charms. No, these are Fortunate Shapes is what these are. This is Cocoa Pebbles. No. This is chocolate gravel. It's completely different and more delicious, which is a lie. So for the purposes of this joke, one of my hobbies is sitting around thinking about road signs. I was doing that the other day. Realized the wrong way sign, it's the least sensible of all the signs, right? Because if I'm driving the wrong way on a one-way street, I'm going to get my cue from the fact that all the signs are backwards. If I see a wrong way sign, I'm like, well, come on, somebody's expecting me to come this way, right? They put up a sign. Like, really? So a lot of crime in my neighborhood recently. People have been putting up signs, beware of dog. Made my own sign. It says, beware of us not having any valuables and you looking foolish in front of all your criminal friends. Which is a little more wordy, but I like it better. So I think it's funny that as Americans and college students, we know so little about our history, right? If you're going to ask me who Sam Adams is, the only things I can tell you are things I've learned from drinking his beer. Like, I'm going to be like, I think he was a dark person, serious, maybe a little bitter. Like, let's be honest, that's a great way to learn about history, right? I think we should be creating beers like current political figures so that our kids are going to have an easier time, right? You're going to need the George Bush beer, which starts sweet, it gets really strong, patriotic, and then it ends bitter for 6 years. And you end up with a mouthful of sand. And I'm not saying it's delicious, but it's educational. Or the Obama beer, which obviously going to be a dark ale. But you don't drink it because it's a dark ale. You drink it because it's got good healthcare policies, is a joke there. Or the Bill Clinton beer, which what happens there is you drink it, you pass out, you wake up next to a fat chick, and then crappy comics make jokes about you forever, which is it's rough. So I was watching a commercial for Trojan condoms the other day, got to thinking, not about the commercial, about the name, Trojan condoms. Like, really, okay, a lot of it makes sense. Okay, it was a city, Troy, that stood up against the Greeks for like 10 years. Okay, so 99% of the time I'm good with it, but in the back of my mind I realized there's going to be that one wise-ass sperm who dresses up like a wooden horse and gets right through there. Right? Like, who decided that was a good idea for a condom name? Like, you're going to name a brand of condoms after a city that got tricked by the enemy, right, subverted from the inside, and had its walls penetrated. Like, I mean, that's not a good metaphor for a condom. Like, what did that meeting look like? Like, they're like, okay, condom names. We got Troy, the Alamo, and France. Looks like we're sticking with Troy past the bong because they were smoking pot. So, yeah, in these tough economic times, I think, think about people less fortunate than you, right? Think about the high premiums that vampire hunters have to pay for malpractice insurance. Right, because in today's day and age, there's a whole bunch of times where they just vanquish some dude with a wooden stake. He doesn't disappear. They're like, that dude was just emo. That's what happened there. He was not a member of the undead. He was just kind of depressed and wore eyeliner. So those are my jokes. Let's give me a round of applause. I'm going to get the hell out of here. Eh? All right. Thank you very much.
Chris Sinchik, everybody. We'll be right back. We'll hear a little more from him right after this, so stay tuned.
Your UT bookstore wants to provide you with a wide selection of used textbooks for next semester. To do this, we need our campus community's cooperation. Faculty must commit to reusing a textbook as soon as possible. We encourage students to sell their used books back. Students will receive 50% of the original sale price for books being reused next semester.
The more used books, the more money you'll save next semester. Together, we can make lower textbook prices a reality.
When did we get music? All right, well, the young man you just saw, Chris Sinchik, will be appearing at Connections Comedy Club February 12th at 8 p.m. And here is once again Chris Sinchik. Nice round of applause for him, please. Chris, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's good to be here, Mason.
Thank you so much for being our guinea pig, because God knows we needed someone to come in here and entertain the troops here, so to speak.
Cool. When do I get my pizza coupons?
You're not getting any pizza coupons. I'm not sure who told you that. It was a lie. You're here for the publicity.
I feel like I'm here under, I don't know, pretense or something.
Well, that's you're perfectly all right to feel.
All right, that's okay.
That is the truth. So you win last Rocket Standing.
Yep.
What was that like? What's that whole competition like?
It was actually really good this year. There were some people that were really stepping up. I was actually fairly concerned that I was not going to make it. Fortunately, I did. Because I do a lot of I do a lot of bribery is the thing. So worked out pretty well for me, I'm going to say. But no, we each had 4 minutes to do an initial set, and then they picked the two best, and they went like back to back for another 3 minutes. So it was a good bit of comedy. 7 minutes for people who are starting out. That's absolutely a lot.
How much material do you have ready to go?
I can do a pretty good 10 minutes. I can do a mediocre 15 and a really crappy 20. So, pretty much works like that.
The last 10 minutes is just sort of, airline peanuts.
Yeah, what's up with this business?
It's just kind of like reciting Jerry Seinfeld.
And then hopefully I've got people in the audience that I can pick on, but, I don't know.
Look at this ugly kid.
Yeah, look at this, he's fat. So, it's one of my favorites.
That would become
Don't
like that
use
scene
That's
in the
mine.
Muppet movie. It'd be like the scene in the Muppet movie with Fozzie and he sees the fat guys in the
See,
audience.
now I watch adult movies.
Oh, well, yeah.
So.
Jay, you were watching the Super Bowl then, I take it?
Yes, not really, no.
No, you just watched the porn instead.
Pretty much,
okay,
yeah.
Fair enough.
It actually wasn't much different. They had a break in the porn for the Super Bowl, actually.
Oh, of course.
Somebody was messing up at the controls. I don't know what happened.
Did you complain to the cable company?
I did. I'm like, come on, look, I missed 30 seconds of this, and it was, I don't know.
It was so integral to the plot.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to do that joke later.
Yeah, you should. Do you ever actually see things that happen in everyday life and then just kind of put them into your...
Yeah, usually what happens is if I make somebody laugh, then I write that down and then I do it as a joke later. Pretty much, that's how it works. Like,
fair enough.
So my roommates know when I'm trying out jokes on them. Like, I try to hide it, like just put it into everyday conversation, but it's really hard to do the setup sometimes.
Do you ever meet people and, like a mutual friend, for example, and the mutual friend will say, oh, don't do anything funny around this guy, he'll put you in his act? Does that ever happen?
Sometimes, but I try not to associate with those people because they're usually...
those people suck.
Yeah, those people suck. They're just jerks. I mean, come on.
How long have you been doing stand-up, or at least trying to do stand-up?
Actually, since last year's contest, so a year now. So it was a really good way to get started, and I've had a lot of fun since then.
What was last year's Last Rocket Standing like for you?
It was pretty much the same thing. I think the level of competition was slightly less. I mean, it was, I don't know.
Were there
it was
more
starting
people,
out.
less people?
There were a few more comics last year. Yeah, there's a few rough moments, but it was actually pretty good. I got second place last year, so I was.
For someone just starting out, that's not bad at all.
No, it was a lot of fun. You know, it's a really easy crowd. It's a lot easier doing it in front of 300 people than like 10 or 4.
Yeah, 4 plus crew and
yeah,
me.
yeah. So.
And the 6 other people that will watch this on YouTube. Or,
yeah, yep.
Or on Channel 31, which
and
nobody seems to know about.
Most of those 6 people are our parents. So.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. What all did you win other than the date at Connections next year?
I get to do unpaid work at Connections, which is good. And then I got
paid in experience.
I know, paid in experience.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's what you got to do when you're starting out. And I enjoy just doing the stage time. I just do it for fun. I mean, there is no money in it. So, yeah, but I also got a $50 gift card. So
for where? Just
I don't know.
general just gift card.
I don't know yet.
You don't know?
I don't know yet. I don't have the gift card yet. So I may not get it. I'm not sure.
Well, we hope you do. What kind of other exposure did you get? I understand I read in the Independent Collegian an article about you in there.
Yeah, please do not take that to heart because.
Lots of inaccuracies in there.
A few inaccuracies, yeah. At one point, one of my jokes was quoted, the joke about Trojan condoms, and they just sucked the humor. It was like a comedy vampire, pretty much. There was nothing left to that joke when they were done, and they quoted it instead, and they paraphrased. It was bad.
I can imagine.
I pretty much cried. So.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. It also said that one of your heroes is Dane Cook.
Oh, that is not correct. I don't really know how they pulled that, but I'm roughly 1,000% sure I did not say that.
Good. And it's great to have you on the show. Chris Sinchik, everybody. February 12th at Connections Comedy Club here in Toledo. Give him a nice round of applause if you would. And that's our show for tonight, our very first show ever here on UT Nighttime. So we hope you had a great time. I'm Mason Lowry. That's Jimmy Momini. We'll see you next week.
Echoed voices in the night. She's a restless spirit.